So it looked like somebody bolted cameras to a pole at a gun range, not aimed at the street, aimed at the driveway, close enough to read every plate that pulls in. And if you want to know where a list like that ends up, CNN already reported on a cop in Milwaukee who answered that for us. I'll get there though, but first, watch this.
So I decided to go to the gun range today, like an American, and tell me why there are flock cameras pointing into the entrance of the parking lot. Not the street, into the entrance so they can read every license plate that comes in here. Yeah, no, I love this. I'm sure there's no ulterior motive behind this either.
I come out to the range and this is what I find. There are freaking flock cameras at the gun range. This is the entrance to the gun range. So they got you coming in. They also got you going out.
All right, so this doesn't shock me. Like a lot of things government oriented, I've got a love-hate relationship with flock cameras, and honestly, it's a lot more hate than love. Because I remember getting chased around downtown by dudes I'm pretty sure were trying to carjack me, and I ran a few red lights getting away from them. And in the middle of that, I'm thinking, every one of these lights has a camera on it. So right now they're watching me run all these red lights. So I decided, let me just go ahead and call 911 and explain to them why this particular plate is running all these lights downtown. Now, I don't even know if that's how it works. I just had the thought anyway, and I made the call. So I've already kind of had an idea of how pervasive these cameras were in the city. But a bunch of flock cameras pointed at the entrance and the parking lot of a gun range is above and beyond suspicious as hell. Now, I can see somebody making the argument that a ranged lot is a logical target for theft if you're a criminal thinking surface level where there's a whole bunch of guns gonna be sitting in cars. A gun range would be that place. Truth be told, most of us are taking our guns inside with us, but that's an elusive obvious, and a lot of criminals don't think past the surface. So the argument exists. Fine. The problem is Americans don't trust the government, and the government has never really given us a reason to trust it. It's the same reason people balk at taxes. Plenty of folks wouldn't mind paying more in taxes if they believe the money went anywhere useful. And take it down the historical gun path for a second. How many times have you watched this government try to infringe on a right written directly into the Constitution? If they'll go at the second, you think they're gonna be precious about the fourth? And you can see where this goes, right? You've got a plate and it's not hard to attach an identity to that plate. And then you're just sitting there watching how many times that same car pulls into the range. Somebody shows up more than whoever's looking at the screen sees fit. And now there's a soft database of gun owners that nobody ever had to pass a bill to create. And if the day ever came where they decided they wanted to start collecting firearms, they've already got the name, the address, and pretty good idea of how much practice you've been getting, which is what takes me back to Milwaukee. Last week, CNN published a report on police misusing these cameras networks, not hackers, actual officers with logins. And one of the cases came out of Milwaukee where Internal Affairs opened an investigation into one of their own. According to the criminal complaint, quote, he secretly used Flock to learn the location of his romantic partner 124 times. Bruh, if you got to do all that, the relationship is done. But then again, that's the whole thing right there. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's one thing to use the system to help somebody solve a crime. It's another thing when a dude sits at a terminal and press into somebody's personal life because he can. And what we've done is hand people the ability to pull up damn near anybody's movements off the smallest piece of information. Now, think about the guy in Twin Falls. Armed citizen out there engaged the shooter at that In-N-Out and drove him off the scene. And we've come to find out he trains a lot. Bearing Arms wrote up where he does it. Quote, he shoots on weekends and trains in the desert outside of Eden. The desert. Nothing out there reading plates though. But imagine he'd been pulling into an indoor range every weekend for 5 years with a camera on the driveway. That log exists on the guy this entire country is calling a hero right now. And whether the log makes him a hero or a problem depends completely on who's reading it and what year it is. Because as long as the government is in existence, it's going to look at gun owners as a potential threat. And you want to know why? Because that's kind of the whole point of the Second Amendment. American citizens are supposed to be positioned in such a way that we could be seen as a potential threat to a tyrannical government. They'll always cloak it in safety, law, and order, keeping people safe. I'm not saying those are lies. I'm saying let's not act like nobody noticed the extra benefits of knowing who owns guns and how often they show up to practice with them. And look, there's a good chance those cameras went up because the range owner put them there to protect their own customers. That's a real thing. There are just so many of these things everywhere now that I'm not putting my money on it. Then again, who knows? So next time you're at the range, ask who owns the camera at the entrance, how long the footage sits on the server, and who they hand it to. If nobody behind the counter knows, that's your answer. Registration used to take paperwork and a signature. Now all it takes is a pole, a lens, and your driveway. And so, don't forget to like, share, and comment. And also, we got the America 2A hat design. As you can see, I'm wearing right here, looking all beautiful and fresh and lovely. You see the eye where the bullet is, or the bullet where the eye is. You know how it goes. But no, that's representative of what this country was founded on, the Second Amendment. So I'll put a link in the description of this video. We have them in hats. We have them in shirts in different colors and styles. Go check it out. Go check them out.
One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.